A Dasher I knew. Badco I'd only just fleetingly met, you know. And that was back in Australia, and he was an artillery officer then. He hadn't changed corps, and you don't talk to artillery like you don't talk to RQMS, you see. Now, apparently, Peter, though, he was a mad infanteer, wanted to be, they called him the Galloping Major anyhow. Apparently, he used to stick his head out quite a lot. And look after his blokes, from what we hear coming back and everything. So once again, he, as an Australian, he made sure that, well, he didn't do it purposely. We all don't do it purposely. But people knew that he was an Australian. Here's the difference. He's not an American. He's one of those crazy bloody Australians, you see. And people knew him for that, and quite often you'd bump into an American that'd serve doing a couple of sewers, and, you know, he said, "Goddamn that Major." Yeah, they loved Peter. Yeah, they loved him. He's a good bloke. That Dasher, I could tell you some bloody stuff. Dasher, I first met Dasher on the football field, and he was a rough bloody bloke to play football against, and you knew when you stepped over that line to play a game of football, you were going to play a game of football. There was no sweat about it. Once you stepped back over the line, there you go, mate, have a beer. Because he liked his beer, Dasher. But he was a very forward sort of a bloke. Had a bit of a bushy in him sort of thing. You know, he was outstanding in his own way because of his character, right? And obviously a brave man. You know, Donnie Palmer, who was with him at the time, what's his name, and Don's passed on, he said Dasher was bloody crazy, mate, the things he used to do, you know. But when I say crazy because of the things he used to do, he did them tactically sound, right? Everything the blokes did, it was tactically sound. It wasn't just being stupid, right? And of course, being an outstanding Australian, he knew Swanno well, and he wasn't going to leave him. Now,
he was his mate.
Yeah, and Vic was dead. Yeah, and he was still carrying him, right? So, yeah, and it was sad to lose a character like Dasher. He could have gone a long way as a business manager. He'd be bloody hard, but he'd be a good manager, you know. He'd have to soften his tone a little bit. No, yeah, well, he was Dasher. He was a character, you know.
I don't think there's anybody else who would have did what he did.
Yeah.
From the outside, it doesn't make sense. It's heartbreaking what he did.
Yeah, but he didn't know. I'm sure he didn't know that Swanno was gone.
No.
You know.
You don't think
As far as he was concerned, he
wasn't given up.
He was helping his mate, right? And I can see that, right? Once again, Swanno become his responsibility, sort of thing. Yeah. Right? Do your job. And he wasn't going to leave him in a paddock. Well, nobody does. You know, we don't do that. Simo and I served together over the years all the time. You know? There's a lot of AATDV are like that, queer people. And yeah, but Simo's announcement came out, and I was with that, and we had a couple of tubes after, and you know, and mine was a month after, wasn't it? About a month after. 3 weeks. And they'd made the announcement and everything, and everybody was breaking up, and Chuta came over, Simo.
What do you call?
Chuta. Chuta Māori. Japanese for wait a minute. Chuta came over. Ray came over and he said, let's go and have a beer, mate. Right? So we walked out of the bloody room, into the next bloody office, and he went, here, mate.
And is that photo?
Yeah.
It'd be pretty close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That photo of the
Yeah.
yeah.
Simo and I having a beer. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Here, mate. He had it all teed up. The booze was right next door, mate.
Because he'd not long been through it.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Did it help to have Ray there for you?
Oh, yeah, mate, yeah. Yeah, well, you know, not only because he'd already received the Victoria Cross. That was great in itself, you know.
He hadn't received it, but he'd been
Well,
advised,
he
you know.
hadn't been invested, but he'd been told, right? So, but we'd served together, and you always said, you know, if anybody's going to get a bloody VC, it'll be bloody stupid old Chuta, right? Because he was a great soldier, great bloody soldier. And
He had a DCM.
yeah, he got a DCM. No, he done 3 tours. And his first tour, he got his DCM, but he was wounded, and they patched his leg up, but it was half an inch shorter than his left leg. So they weren't going to re-enlist him. Right? So he went back to Japan, because he had a Japanese bride, and he was barman in the embassy, Australian embassy. Oh, first up, he was Dixie bashing in a cadet camp at Holsworthy.
Dixie bashing, what's that?
Yeah. He was working. He was Dixie bashing, and he was trying to get back in the army, and they wouldn't bloody well have him. So here's the Dixie bashing now, because he was a warrant officer. Right? He's up in the sergeant's mess, and everybody else is down there, and the old Dixie basher's doing all right. He went back to Japan, got a job at the embassy, saved up some money, got himself on a bloody US aircraft, you cunning bastards, conned himself a ride on a bloody aircraft without flying out of Tokyo. Back into bloody Korea, Vietnam he came, and he took and started. He went to a village, and they never had any village protection, so he went about the whole business, and he recruited some of the bloody blokes and everything, and conned weapons off the Yanks and everything, barbed wired the place up and everything, waiting to get back in the army. And of course, the army is saying, yes, Ray, first up they weren't going to re-enlist him because, you know, he's home only. He'd been wounded, he got a short leg and all this stuff.
He's done a lot of work by that stuff.
Yeah, so, and already been awarded a DCM. So, and of course, to get any money, the training team were paying him, right? And of course, the Yanks from Special Forces and everybody that knew him were throwing in $1 or $2 here and there, so he was doing all right, you know. And finally, they said, "Righto, Ray, we will enlist you, but you've got to come home." And he said, "I'm not coming home." He said, you enlist me, and I want to go back to Special Forces. Dogmatic bastard. Anyhow, they enlisted him and he came back to Special Forces. And he took over his old company again.
And just picked up where he left off.
Yeah, right where he left off, right? And after the action that got him his Victoria Cross, they took him away from the company and they couldn't get him out of Special Forces. Right? They give him a job, and his job was to assess the companies in the field. So he had three Benjis out of his own mob, right? And away they went. You'd have a bloody company patrolling and everything along the bloody border, and Simo and his little bunch would be following along behind him or up alongside him, and he'd come back and say, too much noise and so and so. Yeah, this is what he was doing. I said, Jesus Christ, that didn't come near me, so Christ.
Did that lift?
Yeah, well, I've been to all their investitures, and I'm as proud as stuff of them. I really am, you know. And surprising, none of them got hit. But we lost young Cameron. He got it. But they didn't even get bloody wounded. But Mark's been wounded since. He went back again and got wounded. He's a nice, real nice bloke. He's getting out of army in December, starting his own business. Ben's doing real well. One of the things that the public and the business people out there have found that, hey, these bloody diggers have got a bit of talent, you know. They know a few things. Yeah, yeah. So, where's Ben? He's running a whole bloody TV thing. Yeah, Dan's got his own bloody business and everything, and, you know, they're pretty smart bloody dudes, and I'm proud of stuff of them, you know. And it's good to see that this is happening, because it never happened to us, right? You got out, you were, you know, you never seen any of them. Geez, Jimmy Gordon, you know what Jimmy Gordon was doing? He was driving a bloody tractor, right? Grass cutting, right? And over at Swanbourne Barracks, right? Amongst all the diggers. Here he is. And I thought, Jesus Christ, can't they find something else? Teddy Kenner, they made him a bloody curator, right?